Thank you guys again so much for joining us here at Excel Performance Training for this week's Thrive Training tip. What I wanted to do today, guys, is show you a few basic tips on some exercises that you're probably already doing now, some pointers to help you improve those exercises so you're able to see better results. Exercise we've chosen for today is the single arm dumbbell row. Great exercise, guys, for strengthening those shoulder blades, that upper back strength, working on the lats and the traps. What we happen to see with this a lot, though, is people doing this one is pretty common that we see this one done incorrectly. So let me first of all show you guys how we like to set up for this. When we do, we like to put our hand on a box or a bench, just anything we can kind of support ourselves on, keeping our stomach tight, our feet flat on the ground, a slight bend on the knees, trying to get our chest parallel with the ground. When we start on this position, we actually start with something that we call a dead stop row. So we start teaching the athlete to pick the weight up from a dead stop on the ground. What we're trying to teach is that shoulder rolling forward and then pulling it back as we go into this rowing action. So here on the ground, drive the elbow back and then reach forward back down to the ground. If you see my shoulder blade, what it's doing, it's kind of sliding forward, and then I'm driving that elbow back towards my hip, giving a nice squeeze as I reach forward. Some common mistakes that we see with this is people take it from being a back exercise, turn it into being a bicep exercise. So they might get set up, it might look beautiful, but we see this right here. It's not a bent over bicep curl. Here I'm getting no scapular retraction, nothing is happening in the upper back. What we want to do is after we've reached forward with that weight, we set the shoulder blade, then the weight comes up by driving the elbow back. Another common mistake that we see on this is the failure to set your back into a good stable position. So we see this big cat back like this as people are rowing. We've got to make sure that we're sinking our hips back, creating that slight arch in our back as we're rowing through this exercise. Probably the third most common thing that we see is some over rotation, like people are trying to start a lawnmower. So the exercise looks like this, where we're twisting and we're trying to make it quick and we're not focusing on what we're doing and we're defeating the whole purpose of the exercise. So for this, guys, again, slight bend in the knees, back's flat, slight arch. Keep that chin tucked back so we have a neutral spine. As we pull back, we're setting the shoulder blade, driving the elbow towards the hip, giving a good squeeze, and then reaching back forward. Great exercise, guys, to add in your weekly workout routines, especially after we're doing any kind of bench press or pressing exercises. We don't want this to get overdeveloped. We want to make sure we're strengthening that back for overall athleticism and shoulder health. Sets and reps, guys, I like to do 3 to 4 sets of 6 to 8 reps throughout our week for our training sessions. Thank you so much for watching, guys. For more tips like this, please check us out at excelperformancetraining.com. Remember, next season starts now. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube, follow us on Twitter, and be sure to call us at 918-949-4223. Back to you guys at the studio.